What's up, guys? Welcome back to TCG Critique. I know it's been a while since I posted anything. I had to step out of the hobby, step out of collecting, step out of playing. I just had that first kid, then had a second kid, and I'm working on the third kid, so that's where life takes you. But I have some time today, so I'm with my boy, and just looking at some old mats and going through some nostalgic feels, right? So right here we have Elysium. There's 4 different Elysiums right here. And this one is Sandstone and Trinity art. This one is Moonstone and Trinity art as well. Then we have the OG Darkstone and the Lady of Veil art. And then we have the Spellweaver. Yeah, Spellweaver and the new Darkstone, right? And just to cut some time, I'm going to tell you guys that the only one that's really actually different is going to be the OG Darkstone. So I'm just going to put this one aside. I'll talk about it after, right? So amongst these 3 right here, I'm just going to review one of them, and you can assume the same for all 3 of them. Okay, so I'm gonna review the nice one, right? Not too often you get your hands on a holy grail, 1 of 1, shadow print with perfect alignment, and the Trinity too. So it's very nice looking. I'm just gonna have you guys take a look at that ink, general picture of it. There we go. There we go. All right, so let's see, where do we start? So first of all, the category for this mat is gonna be a thin mat, right? Because we always usually separate between thin, middle, and thick, right? But this is a thin mat for sure. This is one of the best thin mats, which is why I want to review Elysium coming back. I want to review Elysium coming back into the hobby, at least the collection part of the hobby. There's not a lot of good thin mats, in my opinion. I've tried a lot of mats, and a lot of thin ones, they all have their own problems. And I think Elysium is like the gold standard. If you want to play on a thin mat that's not like super expensive, that's gonna be like breaking your bank, right? So right here, in two player, right? So it's just flat out 2 player. When you put your hand on the mat, you can feel that you can feel the backing, you can feel the table, right? Because it's a thin mat, but it still feels soft because you can still feel like the kind of like the plushiness of like the mini piles on this mat. I'm just gonna show you guys a little bit of how it moves. It's been a while since I slide cards, so yeah. So you can see that in terms of catching, there's no catching with cards itself, but what you notice is that the mat can move because the backing itself, it's not like a grippy backing, right? But if you have a grippy backing, then you have your other problems with moving the mat easily, right? But that's why I like to play it in 1 player, because 1 player makes it so it's very nice, right? Very smooth. Mat's no longer moving on the table, so this is why this is the preferred way to play it. Since we are folding it now, let's see if it creases, which I know it doesn't crease. Elysium is really good at that. It doesn't have like that memory where it creases, but a lot of thin mats don't really have that. From what I tried, the thick ones do. Even if it creased, then it's gone the moment you unfold it, right? So if we zoom back into the pile and I'm moving it like this, you don't see any movement, which is why it's considered very low pile, and then that's why it was very smooth to slide the cards. Okay. In terms of inking, I'm not going to destroy this mat, so I'm going to put this mat aside and pull over the other Trinity. So in inking, I'm going to start rolling it a little bit. All right, so you can tell the ink resilience is really good. Okay. You don't really see any cracking, and if you do, you're forcing the crack. So the ink resilience on Elysium is honestly like S tier as well, because it doesn't break. And then even when you slide your cards over, if I recall, see, if you force it down, you're gonna hear it, but it's not gonna chip off. That's the thing. The other thing about Elysium is that, actually, scratch that. I think I already said it earlier, so I'm just gonna move on to the other Elysium that we left out, which is the OG Darkstone, right? So the OG Darkstone feels different from the other ones because honestly, it feels more premium. I think it's because the pile is like slightly thicker, like barely thicker, but enough that if you press your hands on it, you can feel that it has a little bit more premium to it. Also, when you like lift it up and you move it around, it feels like it has a little bit more like density or oomph to it, right? I'm gonna open it into 2-player mode just so you can see here. I'm gonna slide my cards on it too. So playing wise, you don't really feel too much of a difference. Okay. but I feel like already, at least comparison to that one, it doesn't slide as much, maybe because of like that slight density. It does feel a little bit more plush coming back and forth though, and I do like that. But from my understanding, OG Darkstone is OG Darkstone for a reason, meaning that it's not abundant, so it's not like you can just grab it if you want to. Let's take a little look at the ink. This is metallic ink. It's really nice. Metallic ink is usually more resilient, which you can kind of see here. Yeah, so you're not gonna, again, it's still Elysium, so it's gonna have premium ink resilience. So overall, Elysium, right, is my favorite. Honestly, it has to be up there, my favorite thin mats. If it wasn't for the abundancy and how easily you can get it, it would be ranked up there with like the whole ivory marble and the whole hype over there. So I recommend if you don't already have one, just pick one up. It's a 10 out of 10 mat unless you can find something to complain about. And even if you damage it because you rough play it, then you just pick up another one. And it's not expensive enough that that would be a problem for anyone in this hobby, considering the decks are already like, you know, a couple hundred. Every other mat's already a couple hundred, so what's the difference? So welcome back to the channel, guys. If you didn't already, please like, subscribe. Peace. So in one player right here, first of all, when you touch it, it feels, you can feel the table because it's a thin mat. Motherfucker. So right here, in two player,